Senate will come to order. Those not having privilege of the floor will please vacate the chamber. Those in the gallery and those on the floor will please rise as we're led in prayer by Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Saunders of the Bethel Baptist Church in South Charleston, West Virginia. Please remain standing after the prayer as the senior senator from the 8th leads us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we bow before you this morning, I want to first acknowledge your goodness and your greatness. You alone, Lord, are truly worthy of all praise, honor, and glory. We thank you for the freedoms we possess in this great country, including the privilege to vote our conscience and elect officials to positions of responsibility. This distinguished group of senators has been elected by the citizens of West Virginia to make policies and procedures that will govern our great state. I ask that you give them insight and wisdom necessary to lead the state of West Virginia where you would have us to be. May determination, discretion, and divine direction lead them in their discussions of these policies and procedures. I ask that you bless each individual senator, that you bless their endeavors, that you bless these proceedings, and that you bless the great state of West Virginia. I ask all of this in the blessed and holy name of Jesus Christ, and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Senior Senator from the 8th.
Let's remain standing and place our hands over our heart and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get going, it's my pleasure to introduce some entertainment for us this morning, the Appalachian Children's Choir. Reading of the journal.
West Virginia Legislature Senate Journal, March 1st, 2023. The Senate met at 11:10 a.m. Senator Blair, Mr.
Senator
President,
from
the chair.
Upshur requests unanimous consent. Further reading of the journal is dispensed with and the journal be approved. Is there objection? Chair hears none. Further reading of the journal is dispensed with and the journal is approved. Introduction of guests. On behalf of the Senate, it is my pleasure to welcome the honorary pages today. Please stand and be recognized as your name is called. As guests is the senior senator from the 17th, Kavanaugh Blevins, Cameron Blevins, and Rowley Blevins. As guest is the junior senator from the 17th, Alex Ward, Lance Petrie, and Noah Hairston. As guest is the senator from Harrison, Anslea Leach. Will the Senate please make them feel welcome? Further introductions. Senator from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the senator from Brooke and myself, it's your pleasure and ours to welcome members of the Ogilvy Institute. Will you please stand when I call your name? Danielle Cross McCracken, president of Ogilvy Institute, Micah Underwood, director of development, who is also a Mount Deshawnell grad, and Jessica Banyas. Please make them feel welcome.
Further introductions. Senator from Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seated with us in the President's Gallery, the chaperone of our honorary page here to my right, Ansley's mother, Adria Leach, is in the gallery. If she could please stand in the Senate, please make her feel welcome.
Junior senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the senior senator from the 17th and myself, we have two chaperones in the gallery today, and if they would rise as I name you. Pam Haley, who's the grandmother of Noah Harrison, and we have Jessica Burns, who is the mother of Alex Ward. If the members would join me in making them welcome. Thank you.
Senior senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of my junior senator from 17th, myself, we also have the mother of another one of our pagers, Lisa Blevins, also in the President's Gallery. If you wouldn't mind standing, let's Senate give you a warm welcome as well.
Are there further introductions? Communications from the House.
The clerk of the House announced the passage by that body of committee substitute for House Bill 2814 to create a hydrogen power task force.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Energy, Industry, and Mining.
House Bill 2878 to grant the Fleet Management Division oversight authority of the state vehicle fleet.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization, then the Committee on Finance.
House Bill 2939 relating to filing of lien by municipalities for collection of refuse fees.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
House Bill 2955 relating to the establishment and operation of regional water, wastewater, and stormwater authorities.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure and then to the Committee on Government Organization.
Committee substitute for House Bill 2992 clarifying and updating school bus rules and the types of vehicles covered.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Education.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3018 establishing that 18 is the age of consent and removing the ability of an underage person to obtaining a consent to marry through their parents, legal guardians, or by petition to the circuit court.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3049 to create the American Campuses Act.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Education.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3084 relating to revising provisions related to public charter schools.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3092 relating to in-state food service permit reciprocity.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization, then the Committee on Health and Human Resources.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3133 create a credit against the severance tax to encourage private companies to make infrastructure improvements to highways, roads, and bridges in this state.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3135 to modify the salaries of the governor and constitutional officers beginning January 1, 2025.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3153 relating to distribution of certain taxes and surcharges to benefit volunteer and part volunteer fire departments and emergency medical services providers.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance. Senior Senator from the 5th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request unanimous consent to return to the second order of business.
Is there objection? Chair hears none.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your indulgence on this. It's my honor, plus the senior senator from the 6th, the senator from Cabell, and the senator from Mercer, to we're going to do a dual introduction here. I'm going to do a little bit of introductory remarks, but the senator from the 6th will also introduce some students. But ladies and gentlemen, for the last 29 years, the West Virginia Secretary of State's office has been responsible for administering the Jennings Randolph Award. This nationally recognized award is named for our late U.S. Senator Jennings Randolph. Beginning in 1942, Senator Randolph fought in Congress for nearly 30 years to reduce the voting age from 21 to 18. In response to the 1941 presidential executive order during World War II that reduced the military age from 21 to 18. It was Jennings Randolph who first said, "If you're old enough to fight, then you're old enough to vote." The Jennings Randolph Award is granted to a West Virginia high school that hosts a student-led voter registration effort and registering to vote at least 85% of the school's eligible senior class. A school that earns the Jennings Randolph Award can then nominate 2 of the students who led the voter registration effort to be recognized as Honorary Secretary of State. Mr. President, I'm proud and honored with the other members of the delegation from the 6th and the 5th. I'm honored to announce that Tulsa High School from Wayne County is a Jennings Randolph Award-winning school for 2023. In the gallery, escorted by Secretary of State Mac Warner, is the Honorary Secretary of State from Tulsa High School. Would you welcome Serena Reeves?
Are there further introductions? Senior Senator from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also in the gallery, we have the Mingo Central students who were recognized with the Jennings Randolph Award. We have Peyton Cisco and Adriana Edwards, and they're here with Peyton's mother, Bethany Cisco. Senate, please join me and make them welcome.
Senator from Cabell.
Thank you, Mr. President. In that same vein, we have with us today a special guest, and that would be one of the folks that work in the Secretary of State's office diligently to help this program flourish, and that would be Mr. Lee Dean. Lee, if you will stand and let the Senate make you feel welcome.
Senior Senator from the 5th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to recognize Serena's mother, Courtney, if she would stand. Thank you for being here.
Are there further introduction? Further messages?
House Bill 3203 relating generally to West Virginia Real Estate License Act.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3303 clarifying and expanding the powers and duties of the Director of the Coalfield Community Development Office.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3313 restraining county commissions from imposing rules and regulations on farmers beyond what is already prescribed through state statute.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3344 to pay certain moral obligations of the state.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3354 to authorize municipalities to combine operations with other municipalities and counties to provide governmental services.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government and Organization.
House Bill 3371 relating to federal funds for land-grant institutions.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3405 changed the maximum time period of a protective order to 1 year.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
House Bill 3408 to clean up statutory provisions regarding the Hope Scholarship Program to better reflect the intent and operation of the program.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
House Bill 3451 updating the veteran preference ratings and state code for state employment.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government and Organization.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3480 enact the West Virginia Consumer Financial Privacy Act of 2023.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Banking and Insurance.
Committee substitute for House Bill 3482 to create the Coal-Fired Grid Stabilization and Security Act of 2023.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Energy, Industry, and Mining, and then the Committee on Finance.
House Bill 3500 allowing consumer lenders to permit employees to conduct certain business at locations other than the licensee's designated office.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Banking and Insurance.
House Bill 3560 relating to expanding the definitions of land and recreational purposes.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
House Bill 3562 relating to the West Virginia Fusion Center.
Message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government and Organization, then the Committee on Finance. Communications from the Executive.
There are none.
Reports from standing committees.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2760 to allow CPR firefighters to drive ambulances when both attendants are needed to administer patient care, and has amended same. Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3114 denies severance pay to employees of DOT for failure or refusal of drug testing, and has amended same. And engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3450 relating generally to racetrack video lottery and the licensed racetrack modernization fund, and has amended same, and reports the same back with recommendation that they each do pass as amended. Respectfully submitted, Jack David Woodrum, Chair.
Report will be received, Senior Senator, from the 17th.
Then our question unanimous consent that the bills be taken up for immediate consideration and read a first time.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. The clerk will read the bill first time.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2760 to allow CPR firefighters to drive ambulances when both attendants are needed to administer patient care. First reading of the bill.
Bill will be advanced.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3114 denies severance pay to employees of DOT for failure or refusal of drug testing. First reading of the bill.
Bill will be advanced.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3450 relating generally to racetrack video lottery and the licensed racetrack modernization fund. First reading of the bill.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration engrossed House Bill 3396, supplementing, amending, and increasing existing items of appropriation from the State Road Fund of the Department of Transportation, Division of Highways, and reports same back without recommendation as to passage, but with the recommendation that it first be referred to the Committee on Finance. Respectfully submitted, Amy Ann Grady, Chair.
Okay. Report will be received, Senior Senator, from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request unanimous consent that the bill be taken up for immediate consideration. Thank you, Mr. President. Request unanimous consent that the bill be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2860 to dispose of old AFFF foam accumulated by fire departments. and engrossed House Bill 3444 relating to the creation of the West Virginia Semi-Quincentennial Commission and Fund, and reports the same back with the recommendation that they each do pass. Respectfully submitted, Jack David Woodrum, Chair.
Bill will be advanced. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request unanimous consent that the bills be referred to the committee that the bills be taken up for immediate consideration read the first time.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. The clerk will read the bill first time.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2860 to dispose of old AFFF foam accumulated by fire departments. First reading of the bill.
Bill be advanced.
Engrossed House Bill 3444 relating to the creation of the West Virginia Semi-Quincentennial Commission and Fund. First reading of the bill.
Bill will be advanced. Reports from select committees.
There are none.
Introduction of bills.
There are none.
Resolutions.
There are none.
Motions. Petitions.
There are none.
Unfinished business.
There is none.
Bills on third reading.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2587 to reflect that county sheriffs will be required to include a breakdown of the distribution of where a citizen's taxes will be paid. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Summers.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 2587 modifies the information provided on property tax receipts. It would require the receipt to separately state the amount of tax paid for various levies. Currently, the amount paid for levies is shown only in the aggregate. I urge passage of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than the majority of those present voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the action of the Senate to the House.
Engrossed House Bill 2607 clarified that vehicles with a capacity larger than 10 passengers may be used to transport students, provided that no more than 10 passengers may be transported at one time. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Mason.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill provides that when certified county board employees drive students in county board-owned and insured vehicles to school-sponsored activities, or when students are transported to school-sponsored activities in a county board-owned or leased vehicle that doesn't meet school bus or public transit ratings, vehicles with a capacity larger than 10 passengers can be used, but the number of passengers that can be transported is limited to no more than 10 at any one time. I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. President. I urge passage.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk shall prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than the majority of those present voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the action of the Senate to the House.
Engrossed House Bill 2611 to remove certain territorial limitations on a banking institution's ability to offer messenger services or mobile banking facilities. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Wood.
Thank you, Mr. President. This agency bill from the Division of Financial Institutions amends one section in our banking code 31A-2-12A, which covers mobile units and messenger services. The bill deletes certain territorial restrictions. As such, it expands the areas in the state where banking services may be offered through mobile units and messenger services. I'm glad to answer questions and urge passage of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to Rule 43 of the Senate, I request a ruling of the chair as to whether or not I should be excused from voting or required to vote on this matter. I disclose that I am a director of a small community bank in the Eastern Panhandle.
Is the opinion of the chair that you're a member of a class and you're required to vote? Junior Senator from the 17th?
Same request, Mr. President.
Same answer.
Thank you.
You're excused, or you are required to vote. Senator from Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request Rule 43. I own money to the bank, and we don't have very good cell service in our district, so.
I'm not so sure you're a member of a class, but you're still going to be required to vote. Further Rule 43s? Question for the Senate is all those, well, is there further discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yes, yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk should prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close machine ascertain the results on this question. 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the actions of the Senate to the House.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2638, authorizing certain agencies of the Department of Administration to promulgate legislative rules. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee substitute for Senate Bill 263, House Bill 2638 is a rules bundle. It's bundle number 2, and it's the rules bundle that authorizes the rules from the Department of Administration. The bundle only has 2 rules in it. One is a purchasing rule, goes at 148 CSR 01. The other is a Department of Administration rule regarding parking. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions. Otherwise, I urge passage of the bill.
Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk should prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine ascertain the results on this question. 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present voting having voted in affirmative, I declare the bill passed. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Mr. President, I move the bill be made effective from passage and request unanimous consent that the roll call used on passage of the bill be used to make it so effective.
Senior Senator from the 17th moves the bill be made effective from passage and request unanimous consent that the roll call used on the passage of the bill be used to make it so effective. Is there objection? Chair hears none on this question. 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those, more than 2/3 of those elected to the Senate having voted in affirmative, I declare the bill effective from passage. The clerk will communicate the action of the Senate to the House.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2640, authorizing certain agencies of the Department of Environmental Protection to promulgate legislative rules. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee substitute for House Bill 2640 is also a rules bundle. This is the bundle that comes from DEP, our Department of Environmental Protection. It's known as Bundle 3. It has 8 rules in it. One is a DEP rule relating to standards of performance for new stationary sources. One is a rule from the DEP which contains requirements for operating permits. There is a table with that for hazardous air pollutants. There's a table relating to Class 1 and Class 2 substances. House Bill 2642 is part of the bundle. It's a DEP rule relating to emission standards for hazardous air pollutants. House Bill 2643 is part of the bundle. It relates to the control of ozone season nitrogen oxides emissions. Part of the bundle is a DEP rule relating to the rules for quarrying and reclamation. There's a rule from the DEP relating to the Recycling Assistance Grant Program. And there's a rule relating to the Reclamation of Abandoned and Dilapidated Properties Grant Program. There were some House amendments to those rules that were adopted and are part of the bundle. Mr. President, I'll be happy to try to answer any questions, but I urge passage of the rules bundle.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk should prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than the majority of those present voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk has the title amendment.
Committee on the Judiciary moved to amend the title of the bill.
Question is on adoption of the title amendment. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the title amendment adopted. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill be made effective from passage and request unanimous consent that the roll call used on passage of the bill be used to make it so effective.
Senior Senator from the 17th moves the bill be made effective from passage and request unanimous consent that the roll call used on the passage of the bill be used to make it so effective. Is there objection? Chair hears none on this question. 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than two-thirds of those elected to the Senate having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill effective from passage. The clerk will communicate the actions of the Senate to the House.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2648, authorizing certain agencies and boards of the DHHR to promulgate a legislative rule.
Senior Senator from the 17th.
President, I request unanimous consent that the bill lay over 1 day while retaining its place on the calendar.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2762, allowing variance in State Fire Code for certain buildings used solely for emergency equipment storage. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Summers.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 2762 requires the State Fire Commission to promulgate legislative rules that emergency services buildings began after July 1 of this year to be sprinkled, but would create an exception for emergency services buildings that house only equipment, are less than 5,000 square feet, and do not have sleeping quarters. I urge passage of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk should prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the action of the Senate to the House.
Engrossed House Bill 2899, repealing 2 sections of code relating to gas utility rates. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Summers.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 2899 simply repeals 2 obsolete code sections which restricted the Public Service Commission from raising gas rates for a 12-month period in 1983. I'm happy to answer questions, but otherwise urge passage of the bill.
The question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk to prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present and voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the action and send it to the House.
Engrossed House Bill 3199, relating to removing the requirement that an ectopic pregnancy be reported.
Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that the bill be referred to the Committee on Rules.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3210, relating to the performance of installation of propane gas systems. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Summers.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 3210 restricts the use of, refilling of, or work upon a liquefied petroleum gas container without the consent of the tank owner. HB 3210 also restricts the sale, installation, filling, refilling, delivery, or use of any liquefied petroleum gas container by anyone other than the owner, or by anyone that is not authorized by the owner. The bill is primarily a safety bill. Notably, 45 of 50 states have codified similar legislation, including all of our sister states. I'm happy to answer your questions, but otherwise urge passage of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk shall prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine to ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the action and send it to the House.
Engrossed House Bill 3215 relating to land use. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senator from Summers.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 3215 makes various changes to West Virginia Code, all relating to land use. Primarily, the bill provides for flexibility in timelines for planning commissions and allows them to delegate a portion of their duties to authorized staff members. I'm happy to answer your questions, but otherwise urge passage of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk shall prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 33 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present and voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. The clerk will communicate the action and send it to the House. Bills on second reading.
Engrossed House Bill 2309 to require the Division of Forestry to create an online renewal process no later than July 1, 2023. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 2597, amending performance evaluations of professional personnel. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed Committee Substitute for House Bill 2605, relating to Good Samaritan Law. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
Yes, sir. The Committee on the Judiciary moved to amend the bill by striking out everything after the enacting clause.
Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent to explain the amendment in lieu of having it read.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The amendment adopted by the committee is a strike and insert amendment for the whole bill. It's largely technical cleanup, but it includes an amendment from the senator from Jefferson on the way we define the word disaster. It does that now by code reference to another section where the term's defined. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions. Otherwise, I urge adoption of the amendment.
The clerk has an amendment to the amendment.
Senator Trump moved to amend the amendment on page 1, section 15, line 2.
Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to explain the amendment to the amendment rather than having it read.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The floor amendment is cleanup to the cleanup, the strike and insert amendment included the words "or his employer." That was deemed to be too restrictive, and so we're substituting the words "an entity," we're inserting the words "and temporarily includes the imminent threat of disaster as well as its occurrence." I move the adoption of the amendment to the amendment.
Is there discussion? If not, the question before the Senate is adoption of the amendment to the amendment offered by the senator from Morgan. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the amendment adopted. Is there further discussion on the amendment as amended? If not, the question for the Senate is adoption of the amendment offered by the Committee on the Judiciary as amended. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the amendment adopted. Are there further amendments to this bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2757 relating to expanding institutional eligibility for West Virginia Invests grant program. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No,
The
sir.
bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 2839 making a technical correction regarding an incorrect fund name and clarifying applicability to mine lands governed by SMACRA and the Abandoned Mines Land Act. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No,
The
sir.
bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 2900 relating to the Deputy Sheriff Retirement System. Second reading of the bill.
Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our question unanimous consent that the bill be re-referred to the Committee on Pensions.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3013 relating to authorizing the Jefferson County Commission to levy a special district excise tax. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
Yes, sir. The Committee on Finance moved to amend the bill by striking out everything after the enacting clause.
Senator Belize. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our question unanimous consent that the bill move to the foot of first reading.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3364 requiring the closure of certain municipal policemen's and firemen's pension and relief funds as a condition of issuance of pension funding revenue bonds. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No,
The
sir.
bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3391 establishing filing deadlines for appeals of property tax valuations and issues involving property tax classification and taxability of the West Virginia Office of Tax Appeals. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3519 making a supplementary appropriation to the Department of Transportation, Division of Motor Vehicles. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3520 making a supplementary appropriation to the Department of Education, State Board of Education, Vocational Division. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3521 making a supplementary appropriation to the Division of Health, Maternal and Child Health. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3522 making a supplementary appropriation to the Department of Commerce, Division of Natural Resources, License Fund, Wildlife Resources. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3523 making a supplementary appropriation to miscellaneous boards and commissions, Economic Development Authority. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No,
The
sir.
bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3527 supplementing and amending appropriations to Department of Education, School Building Authority. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3528 making a supplementary appropriation to the Department of Health and Human Resources, Division of Health, Hospital Services Revenue Account, Special Fund Capital Improvement, Renovation and Operations. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading.
Engrossed House Bill 3547 increasing the number of personal leave days that County Board of Education employees may use. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be advanced to third reading. Bills on first reading. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that all bills on first reading, with exception of House Bill 3111, be considered read first time and advanced to second reading.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 3111 creating infrastructure-ready jurisdictions. First reading of the bill.
Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that the bill be re-referred to the Committee on Economic Development.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered. Miscellaneous business. Excuse me. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Subject to announcements, I move the Senate stand in recess until 5 p.m. today.
Are there announcements? Senator from Oregon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on the Judiciary will meet today at 3 o'clock p.m. in room 208 West Wing.
Further announcements. Senior Senator from the 4th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two announcements. The first one is probably one of the more important ones, is lunch will be provided for the Senate Finance Committee members in the Finance Committee office at 12:30 today. So it should be there by 12:30. Second announcement is the Committee on Finance will meet today at 3 o'clock at 4:51 a.m.
Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Rules will meet at 4:50 p.m., 10 minutes before the returning to the floor session at 5.
Senator
Senate
from
President.
Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee on Health will meet at 1 p.m. today and 4:51 m. And Republican members will caucus 15 minutes before the committee.
Senator from Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Energy will meet today at 1 p.m. in 208 West. Agenda has been posted.
Further announcements. Senator from Marion.
Thank you, Mr. President. The West Virginia AFL-CIO is once again hosting a joint labor caucus in the House Government Organization Room. Menu today is caviar and Hot Pockets and fruit roll-ups for dessert. Hope to see you over there.
Senator from Raleigh.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on the Workforce will meet tomorrow morning promptly at 10 a.m. The agenda has been posted.
Further announcements. If not, motion is to recess till 5 p.m. today. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the Senate in recess till 5 p.m. today.